Today we got villains that were low-key right. Now, some villains do be right. It's just the way they go about it. I can't think of any villains that were right and they just got beat up and silenced for it off the top of my head. But let's see what the video says. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and let's get into the video.
Wait, when I say low-key right, that doesn't mean I agree with their opinions fully. And especially not the method of action, because half of these, I'm not gonna lie, they were tweaking. But anyways, back on track. First up, Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. Alright, so if you don't know who the Doc is, he's basically the main villain of Phineas and Ferb. And I'm not gonna explain Phineas and Ferb, everybody should know that show. But he was basically infamous for making a lot of inventions. And for some reason, every single one of his inventions ended with a thon. The Annihilator-a-thon, the Death-a-thon, the Unemployment-a-thon. I know a lot of y'all are suffering from that one right now. But to sum it up, he's the main villain in this world. And everybody hates him. But in all reality, I don't think he's that bad of a guy. Matter of fact, I would even say that he's a good guy at the heart. And the main reason why I say that is because when you look at his backstory, gee golly, that shit was horrible. I mean, he was very lonely, he had no friends, nobody wanted to be around him. He literally made a balloon his best friend. And also, his parents absolutely hated him. I mean, for God's sake, they didn't even show up to his birth. How the fuck that's possible, I don't know, but they did that shit. And then not to mention, when he got home, his life was even worse. Because his mother didn't love him because he wasn't good at kickball, of all things in the world not to be good at. Like, what the His dad hated him so much that he made him his personal garden gnome. And he wouldn't allow him to move because it would mess up the aesthetic. Like, that. What was wrong with these people? I think it would have been better if they gave him to a foster home than do what they're doing with him now. Not to mention, I mean, just look at this. He was extremely choppy. So you already know none of the hoes wanted him when he was growing up. Like, look at this nose. Why is it so big? Buddy could probably smell Mars from here, man. I know Buddy's worst fear is India. I'm not gonna lie, he would probably die. My fault, that was a bad joke. I could have been talking about India, love that. But I think the thing that hurt him most about his childhood is that he always spent his birthdays alone. And honestly, for a kid, a birthday is like the most important moment.
Nah. That's why he like so awkward. He don't got no human interaction skills. I might edit that out. But yeah, he ain't got no human interaction skills. His dad would literally be like, no, do not eat. Don't eat. Bro, his player build is insane. Oh my gosh. Long triangular neck. Big circular ear,
right here,
big nose, and his neck is so skinny. Like, how is this supporting your head? Like, you gotta walk. I would walk around holding my neck just to hold my head up. Like, his head and his hands and his neck are not proportionate. Like, his eyes big, his nose big, his head big as fuck, and his nose little. Like, the rest of his body, yeah, like the head and the body don't match.
Days alone. And honestly, for a kid, a birthday is like the most important moment in your life. But this right here leads me to why I think he isn't a bad person. Because since he had such a horrible experience on his birthday in his childhood, he made sure that no matter what, his daughter would never experience the same thing. And in one episode, he threw a massive ass birthday party just for her. And even though she hated it because he went way overboard. Like, Buddy bought a whole bomb instead of fireworks. I'm not gonna lie, it's never that serious. This shows that he really does care about his daughter, and also that he does have a heart. Which is why you can...
Okay, this is the thing about people like this. I think he do got good qualities, but have you seen the crimes he's committed? He be blowing up stuff, he be stealing stuff. Like, I watched the video of all the crimes he committed. It's a lot, bro, and they not minor. And I don't remember a lot of them because it was like 2 years ago. But still, you can be a good guy and still go to jail.
Never get me to hate this guy, bro. I mean, imagine having a childhood like that. Who wouldn't end up as a villain? Like, let's keep it a beam. Like, his dad literally made him be a gardener. Like, if my dad did that to me, I would want to rob a few grandmas too. I'm not gonna lie. Plus, there's no way he could be such a bad guy if even his ops don't really hate him. I mean, even though Perry and Doc had their differences, they really honestly look like best friends sometimes, man. Like, I can imagine them on a FaceTime call laughing their ass off, just dissing each other, talking about, oh, I'm finna get your ass next time, being each other's favorite op or some shit. I don't know, man. In all honesty, everything he did is out of a trauma response. And a lot of what he did was also to help his daughter have a better life than he did. And even though that's a selfish reason, you can't tell me right now with a confident face, if you had his childhood, you would do any different. Because I sure can.
Nah, I might be worse than him, though. Because, like, he don't really do nothing. That he made somebody wear a sandwich costume one time. It's just, like, the crimes he do, they don't, like, hurt people necessarily. And Yeah, but I'd be worse than him. I'm telling you, if I was him or Naruto, I would have blew up the whole, like, what you mean? That whole village, the whole city would have been gone.
So that's why I can't say he was really a horrible villain. He's just broken, like we all are. And even though not all of his reasons were completely morally correct, I can't say his intentions were wrong. The execution part is just bad. Like, you don't need to blow up the whole tri-state area. Plus, a lot of the stuff in this cartoon was just extreme. Like, you remember that firework bomb I just mentioned? Yeah, he accidentally strapped himself up to that, and somehow he got shot off into the air and it exploded. And in the real world, he would have for sure died from that. I mean, we would be singing R.I.P. in the funerals. But this is a cartoon and wildly unrealistic, so the next episode, he was right back to normal, like nothing ever happened. Not a broken bone or a scratch on his body. I'm not gonna lie, we could have at least gave him a concussion or something. But if you think that's unrealistic, then oh boy, buckle up for the next villain we're finna talk about. Ken is misunderstood. Let me break it down though. So if you haven't watched this movie, basically the B movie is about a bee that graduated college but didn't want to work anymore. He wanted to be free. So he left his little beehive and met a human named Vanessa. And somehow he ended up in a grocery store and found out that humans sold honey, but they didn't give any of the bees commission for their product. So he then proceeds to sue humans for stealing their product. And then it turns into this whole big lawsuit. It's like the biggest news in the world. Who cares? Nobody cares. Whatever. That's not what we're finna talk about. What we're here to talk about is this bee, Barry, and this girl, Vanessa, relationship throughout this whole movie. Because yeah, they're not just a comedic duo. They turn into actual lovers. And see, the way that this started is that Barry asked Vanessa,
what do you have to do for not only your girl to cheat on you, but her to cheat on you with a bee? A literal bee. People were trying to make it seem like the dude was crazy for not wanting to be. I'm telling you, I would have sprayed hairspray and lit a lighter on that bee, boy. Cause what are you talking about, bro? What you mean you finna go see a bee? What are we talking about? Like, be for real, bro. Are we serious? You in love with a bee? This nigga can't, like, y'all can't even do nothing. Like, what are we talking about?
So to help him sue the humans, which she agreed to because I guess she was just bored. But see, here's the problem. Vanessa has a husband. And see, the relationship that Barry and Vanessa started to grow and nurture wasn't just a platonic relationship. Because I'm not gonna lie, that this Barry was raising this girl up crazy. Like, they spending every single day together. They over here chilling, talking. He even gets this woman to start. Cooking for this. You're a bee. What do you don't need a full course meal. The crazy part about it is that he's doing all of this knowing that she has a husband, who in fact, to add fuel to the fire, is allergic to bees. And the fucked up part about this whole situation is that Barry and Vanessa don't even try to hide it. It's very obvious that they have feelings for each other. I still don't understand, because one is a human being and one is a bee. Like, how would that even genetically work? I mean, that
Come on, bro.
It would probably be like this. It's like, that's just not gonna fit. Like, no, the worst part about this movie, in my opinion, is that when Ken starts to peek what is going on, Vanessa then tries to gaslight him into thinking that he's just being insecure. Like, brother, how am I being insecure? A bee is literally taking my girl right from me. And you know what the worst part about this is? Is that Barry the bee, that Ken is allergic to, was rubbing this whole thing all over his face. Pause. No, pause. This was coming on his face. He was spreading pollen all around the house. You got Ken coming in the crib automatically sneezing because he's breaking out. Then you got this bee eating at your table, taking your seat, drinking with your girl, flirting with your girl. Like, bro,
bro, I would have switched him down. I would have overdid him. Cause, like, what you mean? And she gotta go. Like, you going so bad that you can get took by a bee? Yeah, get the fuck out. Get out. Like, what's going on? What's really going on? If it was a monkey or something, would you do it too? That's more human-like, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. If I was Ken, I'm killing it. I don't care. Where's the rage spray? And you know the funny part about this is that Ken actually stood on business too. Like, me and him are twins for real. He actually tried to pack him up multiple times, mind you. But every single time he tried to, something or someone would stop him. And we can all probably guess who the someone was. Like, geez Louise, yo, Ken, please just break up with this girl. She's disrespecting your manhood. Please, what does she have on you? Do you like getting bad? She not only let another man another insect, I don't know, another bee, come into your crib, put his meat on your table, and raise your girl pollinating and spreading all of his mushy goodness all around the house for you to sneeze at, and she did nothing about it. Matter of fact, she encouraged it. Matter of fact, she let him take her. Come on, man. The worst part about this movie is that at the end, Barry ends up being with Vanessa. Like, again, I don't know how that would work. I don't know if his, like, stinger would just go into her. But they end up together, and they also end up gaslighting Ken so much to the point where he goes back crazy, which honestly I can't blame him. I mean, every single man would do the same thing if his girl got taken by a bee. But in my opinion, there is no way Ken is the villain in this story, and I hate that this movie tried to gaslight us into thinking that shit, because we were kids. We didn't know any better. We thought bees had like us, man. I don't know. We thought it was possible. If anything, Barry was actually the villain in my opinion, and Vanessa was for sure his Harley Quinn, ruining a grown working class man's life for absolutely nothing. But this isn't even the craziest situation we're finna talk about. And a matter of fact, we're finna talk about the craziest one next, because honestly, I feel like it's the one y'all have all been waiting for. See, Thanos grew up on a planet called Titan, and a major issue on his planet was overpopulation. See, Thanos suggested that they just killed off half of the population so that at least the other half of the population could live and survive, because the planet was about to be But the government of this world deemed that way too inhumane, which I do agree. I mean, how would you even go about that? Like,
okay, I gotta take on this, right? If you wipe out half of the population, what half are you wiping out? Because of the population, there are doctors, there are farmers, there are nurses, there are dentists, there are construction workers, there are restaurant workers, like there are company owners. So is the half just gonna, like, if you wipe out half of those people are gone, and then the same problems you had before are still gonna persist, because if you wipe out half the farmers and then it's this population of people who not farmers and they need the food, they're cooked. They're cooked. You can't do that, and you can't pick and choose who you gonna take out. Oh yeah, give me just regular civilians who have no importance. You can't do that. And just because they don't have a job don't mean they're not important. That's still a life. And then how did you even, I guess that's what the Infinity Stones are for. How you even know that's what they did? Like, oh yeah, if I get all 5 of them in this gauntlet and I snap my fingers, yeah, I can wipe out half the galaxy. And another thing, what if you're in that half? Is he just invincible because he's the one with the gauntlet? Let me know.
Would it be a lottery? Would it be nationally televised? Like, imagine turning on the TV to find out if you were finna die. Like, the fate of your life was based on a lottery. But anyways, eventually the whole planet ended up being extinct. And this obviously made Thanos very, very sad. But there was one silver lining. He was right. See, if Titan did massacre half of their population, they would have survived. But they didn't, and that's why they died. And in all reality, if you're just crazy like Thanos, that's all the motivation you need to just go and kill people. And from that point on, he proceeded to commit mass genocide to the whole universe, until he found out about the Infinity Stones, and then it basically just sped up the process, and we know the rest, because the rest is history. Now, a lot of people think he was right in doing this, because we as human beings are parasites to our world. I mean, all we do is just suck and slobber up all of the planet's resources, and then oftentimes we just completely milk it dry, and then there's nothing else left. And at the same time, if we sucked up some of the resources, but not all of it, at a cool little rate, it wouldn't be that bad. But we're just doing it way too fast, and it's just we just got to stop that. We got to slow it down. And people think the best way of slowing it down is by just cutting half the population, which in theory does sound correct, and that's why a lot of people agree with Thanos. I'm not one of them. Y'all know this is supposed to be a video about villains that were low-key, right? But I want to tell y'all about one that I know is wrong. And it's not for the reason that you think. I think before he got the Infinity Stone, everything he did wasn't as bad as it seemed. Yeah, the raging war and mass genocide throughout the universe, that was bad. I'm not gonna lie, I can't justify that. But I will admit, even though it was unethical, he was correct about Titan. The only way they could solve that problem wasn't by nuking half the population. And their unwillingness to do that nuked the entire population. When a decision has to be made, it has to be made, or else everything will fail. So I do agree with that. But once he got them Infinity Stones, there is no justifiable reason that he should have did that, boo. Like, you're telling me you got this big gauntlet that will allow you to do anything you can imagine in this world, and the first thing you decide to do with it is just murk half the population.
Nah, see, I wasn't aware of that. So Thanos, you can do anything you want to. The gauntlet will let you do anything you want. why not just make the perfect society then? Make it to where there's enough resources, make it to where there's peace, and make it to where, you know, people don't, like, it, the population stops at a certain limit, and, like, it refills naturally over time to where it's not so fast. You said, nah. Why would I fix the problem when I could just erase them? Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let me get all these stones. Vision, give me that. You don't need it. Bit for head at him. But yeah, that's crazy. What? I didn't know that. You could have did anything you wanted to, so you just decided to erase half the population.
Like, there was way better solution to this. Like, for one, if this gauntlet can really do anything, why don't you just double all of the resources for everybody in the universe? That would immediately fix every single problem we have. And I've seen some debates about that solution theory, because that's not my theory, by the way. I'm not gonna lie, I completely stole that. But none of them really make sense. Like, the main one I'm seeing is that, yeah, Thanos could do that, but then once the population doubles, he'll just have to keep on redoing it. Like, bitch, okay, I mean, who cares? Let's keep on redoing. Any solution is better than eliminating life for no reason. And if he really wanted to stop doing it so much, all he has to do is just double it one time and tell everybody that if you ever go near that line that I just said, you will be murdered immediately. You know I'll do it now. Like, you didn't have to go to those extreme lengths when there was just such a better solution. I feel like he just wanted to murk half the population just to prove a point. And I'm sorry, that's just not a good reason. But the last person I'm going to talk about does actually have a good reason for doing what he does. I just may or may not agree with the methods. And the character I'm talking about is the bunny. So yeah, I just figured out his name is White Rabbit. My fault to the DMC fans. My editor being one of them. I'm not gonna lie, I already know he's cursing me out through the screen. But if you don't know what Devil May Cry is, it's a popular game series that's also recently turned into a Netflix show.
I'm gonna end it. Hold on. He said the bunny. He talked about the bunny for the rest of the show. For the rest of the... Yeah, I'm gonna end the video right here because I don't know who the bunny is. If you know some people who are low-key, right, let me know in the comments. Show some love to him. One Cloud 9. I reacted to this video a few days ago. Probably yesterday, I think. Or I posted it a few days. I posted it would have been the last week. So go check it out on my channel too. If you like this video, like this video. And yeah, I post at least 2 to 3 times a day. So you don't want to miss that. And with that being said, I'm going to see y'all in the next one.